Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night, wherever you are at. I want to thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Cali Truck Stop Theater. Uh, I'm starting to get pretty good at that introduction. but uh, but this video is going to be one of many, I guess, one of many that will be on the Dollar General account. So as long as I'm on the Dollar General account, um, there's going to be some videos that I'm going to put up in regards to my experience. This is my experience and my opinions. Um, Other things that I learn or go through while on the Dollar General account. Okay? So, if you are looking to be a truck driver, or if you're already a truck driver and you're wondering about what this Dollar General account or how this Dollar General account is, I will attempt to give you the best information that I know of, and the best information that I know of is typically going to come from my experiences and what I've been told about this particular account. So the things that I do talk about on here, they might not be um, they might not be true in your experience or your case, or they might be irrelevant. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. I heard some talking outside my truck. I'm currently uh, at one of the stores that I deliver to, but I don't deliver till tomorrow morning. But I'm here tonight, which is, what time is it now? It's quarter to nine on my clock at the time of this recording. But anyways, um, the information that I am going to share with you are based upon my experience, my knowledge of what I know about the Dollar General account, and more specifically, the particular distribution center that I'm running out of. So, also it might be a little different. Things might be a little bit different running at some other distribution centers. So, to so I'm titling this video as the Dollar General Chronicles, and I decided to call it that just because um, I just think that I'll inform you on things that come to mind that maybe you should know about, whether it's good or bad. And so this is, I guess, it's a combination of both. This video will be a combination of both. Um, it's bad in the sense as far as my experience in this particular situation, but it's good because I'm giving you this information in case you don't know, and this information might be valuable to you. So I'm saying that it's bad in the sense of my experience because I had something happen today that I am not too happy about, and I'll explain it. Well, there's a couple of things, and it's actually what led up to what led up to the reason why that I'm doing this video. And this video is not to bash anybody. It is not to put anybody down. I'm a person who believes in love, uh, and I believe that people should be forgiven. People should be treated uh, treated nicely no matter what goes on, no matter what happens. Uh, at least at least treated nicely as much as possible. Um, as much as possible. So not all the time is it always going to be hugs and kisses. But we are to treat one another with respect and dignity, and we are to be as peaceful as possible towards one another. And so that's what I believe, and that's what I try to demonstrate. And I believe that I demonstrated that in this situation. Okay, so um, so I'll start with this morning. Okay, so this morning I woke up to a message saying that I have a load um, that would um, that is ready for me to pick up. Um, and so I'm like, all right, cool. So I checked the load information that I got, and I noticed that um, I didn't have to actually deliver until tomorrow morning. Okay, now mind you, this was this morning um, that I got the message, and it said that I don't have to deliver until tomorrow. It's scheduled for a tomorrow delivery, and this trip yielded me a little bit over 500. Well, not the trip that I'm on now, but the trip that was given to me this morning was yielding me a little bit over 500 miles for the trip. So to me, that's great. 500 miles plus getting paid for well, I'm getting paid for the miles, but I'm also getting paid for each stop that I go to, and when I empty out a trailer, I get paid for the trailer that I empty out as well. So I figure, whoa, this is a good trip. All right, so what I do and what I've been trained to do is to trip plan for your trips. Okay, so I was trip planning. I started trip planning, and I was trip planning according to a couple of factors. One, my convenience. Two, I was trip planning according to when the trip had to, or the when the load had to arrive, and then three, I was trip planning around my clock. So I'm not going to go into the details of the trip planning, but what I did decide to do was that I would, seeing as how it was in the morning, and I wouldn't have to deliver until, you know, virtually 24 hours after I've already received the load. I figured I had plenty of time to, relax and just kind of recuperate from um, from the previous day's work. Physically. But my plan was to leave later on today, or pick up that load later on today. Somewhere in the afternoon of today, and then the drive over to the first store and spend the night there, and reset my clock for the next day at the store. That's the way that I have been planning my trips. Is that if I can sleep at the shipper, if I can get there at the shipper and sleep at the shipper, and then do my unloading there, then I won't have to worry about my drive clock being ran down, and thus starting my 14-hour clock. Um, it allows me to be able to unload and still keep my full clock until I'm ready to leave to go to the next site, which um, you know which can allow me for extra time to drive so that I can complete my stops, thus being able to just crank out loads every day. that kind of thing. So trip planning is very important. All right, so as the day goes on, um, you know, I'm just waiting, just going through my day, just waiting for the time that I set up in my head to plan to roll out and go pick up this load, and then take off to the first stop. Well, during the course of the day, um, my fleet manager calls. Now I've been having some issues with my phone lately, so when he called, I couldn't answer the phone. It would ring, but it wasn't showing anybody. It wasn't showing who was calling, and it wasn't showing any buttons to actually answer the phone. So I just had to let it ring. Didn't know what it was, and part of it is because my phone's malfunctioning, but the other part of it is now that portion of it um, where it's not giving me the function to actually answer the phone. I believe that is a phone issue. But the other issue that I was having was that I was in an area where the signal was not all that great. So the phone call probably never would have made it probably wasn't going to be the best type of phone call. Probably would have been dropping and stuff like that. So I wasn't in the best position to answer the phone. Um, I did get a message from my fleet manager asking when I was going to go pick up the load. Well, I didn't get to answer the message quick enough before he had taken me off the load, and then he reapplied me to another load. Uh, reapplied me to another load, and I'm like, wait a second, what the heck just happened here? You know, why take me off of this load? Because in my this is how I was looking at it in my head. Why take me off of this load? This load is not due till tomorrow. I have plenty of time to go pick this load up and go to where I need to go and deliver in the morning. Why is it that I got taken off of this load? Because to me, what it sounds to me is like you're trying to micromanage the way that I operate. Now, as I understand it, when you get the load information, um, you know um, the load is ready for you to pick up. You typically do not get that load information unless that load is is ready to go. Um, if that load is you know considered roadworthy and ready to go, then you go ahead and um, you can go and pick it up. So, but and the one thing that fleet managers and stuff like that are always stressing is like first of all, uh, when you're trip planning, you trip plan for safety, you trip plan to try and maximize your clock, and all these things. And these are the things that I do when I trip plan. Is that I want to plan a time to be able to leave, so that I have enough time to get to where I need to go in a safe manner, to where I'm not rushing and I'm not to where it allows me to kind of relax a little bit while I'm driving, and even before I drive. It keeps me into a relaxed state. If I feel like I'm rushed, or if that kind of thing, troubles can happen. You can start skipping and missing stuff, and if you, I guess, if you miss the right thing, it could be detrimental to your whole operation. So you want to have plenty of time to get to your destination. You don't want to feel rushed. You don't want to rush, and it also helps um, to remain relaxed and calm prior to driving. because there again, if you get anxious and um, if you get anxious and rushed at any point, there's a possibility that you could miss something, and you could become unsafe in whatever you're doing. So just take note of what I'm saying here, because it's all coming together here. So um, so I'm like, WTF? What the fuck? That's the way I'm thinking in my mind. What is wrong? What's going on here? And so I messaged back, and I'm like, hey, why was I taken off of the load? How come I got taken off of the load and put on this other one? And so he says, well, I called you and left a message, but you didn't answer the phone. I says, well, I'm sorry, I didn't have no, my phone was, not operating properly. So, but I'm like, why is it that um, why is it that you're taking me off the load? If the load is not due till tomorrow and I have plenty of time, why take me off of the load? And because I'm saying this because of for this particular reason. I had already made up the plan. I had already made up the trip. What time I'm gonna leave to go pick up this load? How long it's gonna take me to get to the first stop? I planned it to where I can go and pick up the load and um, drive over to the first stop, spend the night there, and get up and start to unload. And all during that time, from the time that I've arrived at the stop, all during the night and in the morning, and even when I'm working, my drive clock is reset. Okay, I planned everything, planned it out to the T, and even going to the next stop, because I think I had three stops to do, 3 or 4 stops to do in it. So I planned everything out. Okay, I'm gonna be here. Um, I expected to be doing this and doing that and da 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 da. So I'm asking. I'm like, why do that? Because it's irritating to me when I spend all this time planning and preparing all this stuff, and then you're gonna just go ahead and take me off of this and switch it up on me, and now I gotta go back and I gotta do the stuff all over again for a new load. That irritates me. And so I was asking about that. I'm like, why did you take me off of this? I mean, I'm not in that. I'm not in any danger of not making it to the destination on time. I never got no answer to that. I left it alone. I'm like, you know what? Maybe um, that load was just not for me. Maybe God was just protecting me from something that's gonna happen on that load. I don't know. I just took that negative and turned it into a positive. Maybe it was just for some reason it wasn't for me. So I'm just like, okay, well, I'll go ahead and take this one. This trip that I'm on here is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 miles less than the first trip. I'm like, all right, I'll just go ahead and take it. I'm not going to press the issue of why, make him answer me as to why he changed me. I'm just like, well, you know what? I'm just leave it like it is. I'll just go ahead and deal with it, and I'll take this, right? So I did that. Well, another detail is that the fleet manager was like, well, uh, I changed. Well, it was something to the effect that he changed it so that um, so that I can. Well, what did he say? Hold on, let me see. What did it say here? Give me just a moment, cause I have it here. I never came down to pick the
You
load
have
up.
0 new messages, 7 of 41.
Yeah, I know I never came to get the load. Oh, so here it is. Like, see, so load will now be available at 16:30 today. Tried to call earlier, sent the message if you were good to pick up then. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, come on, you sent. I told you, and he even said, what did
You
he
have
say?
0 new messages, 11 of 41.
He even said, yeah, since you're available at 11, yeah, or at 8 o'clock. And so yeah, I sent out a reply. Yeah, I'm ready for to get to get put under a load. That doesn't mean, I mean, based upon um the way that, based upon the delivery of this load, it's like, yeah, put me under load. So now I'm looking at the time like, okay, well, I don't have to go pick it up right now. If I move, that's gonna that's gonna throw my clock off, and that's what I'm trying to avoid doing, is throw my clock off. So I'm irritated because I'm like, dude, you know, I'm sitting here trying to manage my clock, and what you're doing is throwing a monkey wrench in everything. Your job is to give me my loads and make sure that I'm getting my load um, to its destination on time. That's your job. As far as all the logistics is concerned, you need to leave that to me so that I can be able to um, utilize my clock the best way that I know how to, thus uh, allowing myself to um, allowing myself the opportunity to get more opportunities to work, which in turn would even be helping you out, fleet manager, will be helping you out because I'm constantly working, and I'm I'm out there taking care of business, and um, I'm doing my thing, and the more work that I get, and completing stuff on time, the better that you look. So when you just go ahead and do stuff like that and talking about, well, I sent you an availability, yeah, you sent it to me and I responded to it, yes, but just because I say that I'm available and you put me on a load doesn't mean that I need to go pick that damn thing up right now. So um so anyways, he's making it seem like, well, you know uh I gave it to you but you didn't go pick it up. I know that. I mean, if I was to go and move, you guys would start bitching and complaining um about me, using personal conveyance to go and move the truck. So I'm like, well, what do you want me to do? I'm thinking to myself, what do you want me to do then? Because I'm not gonna up and move just because the load is ready for me to go. That's not gonna work for my clock. You know, I got rules and regulations that I gotta abide to, and and you of all people know this. So for you to do stuff like this, it's really irritating. So because now I'm like, okay, you know what? All that planning that I did turned out to be a waste of time. So he set me up with this load, and he says it's ready by 4:30. Are you gonna go and pick it up? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up, right? So I did the trip planning again for this particular load, and I'm looking to see the times of when I gotta be at the first stop. So I went through the same process. I'm like, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pick up at this time, and um I'm just gonna go ahead and make my way to the first stop, and I'll hang out overnight and all that kind of stuff. So this one, he said it was gonna be ready till, well, he said that he made it to where I can go pick it up by 4:30. I'm like, all right, cool. So I already set up the time I needed to go. I took off, and this was about I don't know, 3:30. I went down to go look. I went down to the yard and I found my trailer, and um, and I had hooked up to the trailer, and I did all my stuff, my pre-tripping and stuff like that. And I looked at the back of the trailer. I'm like, there's no, excuse me, there's no seal back here. And I cracked open the door, and I didn't see any seal on the bottom, on the floor down there where it usually is. And so I went in. I actually opened it up, and I went into the trailer, and I'm checking to see if the right store is is at the back of the trailer, so that I can easily just unload. And I also was checking the load strap, because if you saw my other video, the load strap broke on me, and product went flying everywhere. So this time around, I'm like, no, I'm gonna check this and make sure that this load strap is pretty good. So I got all up in there, and um you know inspecting it. I come out, and I noticed that this guy's walking around the yard, and what I noticed that this guy had a couple of items in his hand, and he walked right by me. He saw me with the trailer wide open. He saw me all up in the trailer, all that kind of stuff, and he didn't say not one word. Right? He went to the trailer that was literally like right next to me, and he was putting items in that trailer. Now, I didn't know who he was. I just noticed that this dude is walking the yard with some of these items, right? And so I'm closing up the trailer, putting the lift gate back up and all that kind of stuff, right? And I'm like, well, there's no seal on it, but oh well, I guess I can go and take it over to the guard shack and be like, hey, um, the thing was ready, but I didn't have the seal on it, right? And so I started to take off. Now let me back up here just a moment. Now back to when I was inspecting the trailer. Okay, this dude was walking around the yard, or driving around the yard earlier. Now I remember seeing the little yard jock, truck riding around. And so I'm assuming that was him, but I definitely did see him when I was all up in the back of that trailer, and he walked past the trailer. He walked right past me. I was right out in plain sight, and he saw me, and he walked to the trailer next to me to go put some items in there. Well, now, um, during the inspection of this trailer, I did see some metal seals that was attached to one of the. It was just kind of like wrapped around one of the. Well, if you look, you know how when you look at the tail light of the trailer, um, there was the cable, that the electric cable that goes into the actual tail light itself. I saw it was just dangling um, on the trailer light itself. Now, I didn't think too much about it while I was doing it. I was just thinking, okay, maybe that's maybe it was like a. At first, I was thinking maybe that was just a a metal, like twisty tie or something like that. That's what I thought it was at first, right? And so now, fast forwarding to after I've already inspected the trailer, gone inside, gone outside. This dude, he puts this stuff back, and he puts his items into the other trailer, and he starts walking away. So I didn't pay attention too much about where he was going after the trail, after he had dumped stuff off the trailer. I just know that I noticed a man carrying a couple of products, dumped it in the trailer next to me, and he walked off. At this time, I closed up the door, and I got into my truck, and I proceeded to go towards the guard shack. Well, halfway getting from the spot where I left to towards the guard shack, one of the yard jocks, he's flagging me down, and um, he says, hey, you got to go back. I'm like, why is it I got to go back? He says, you got to get the load sealed. So I'm like, okay, well, who do I gotta go see to get it sealed? And he says, you gotta go see the driver. I'm like, okay, that doesn't tell me who it is that I'm having to go look for. And he says, you just gotta go back to where you came from, and find one of the drivers back there. He's got to seal up your truck or your trailer. So I'm like, all right. So I turn around. Now I'm like, all right. So now I gotta go back. I was told that this load was ready. Okay, and I took the load. I got there early so that I wouldn't have to have a repeat of what happened this morning, where um where the dispatch is sitting there is constantly bugging me about when I'm gonna pick up a load. You know, so that was the reason why I went down there a little early. So I'm driving back and I'm kind of irritated again because I'm like, I'm ready to go. I was told this load is ready to go. What is going on? Why is it that I got to go back? Because they're not ready. They had all day today and whenever and however long overnight, whenever this load was started, they had all this time, and up until the time that the paperwork was printed out and sent out, they had all this time to get this thing ready. So when the paperwork is already drawn up and it's sent out to be picked up, that means that the load is ready. So for me to sit here and wonder, for me to have to go back because um, because the seal needed to be put on there, that does pose a question in my mind: is why is it that the seal was not put on there? Why is it that I have to go back because they didn't put a seal on there? Why is it that why is it they couldn't have come to me? I mean, you already flagged me down. Why is it you don't have the seal and the stuff ready to go? So I'm going back and I'm driving now. I'm like, okay, so I don't know who the hell I got to go see. So I'm driving around and I see one of the other drivers, and I busted UE and I'm trying to follow him and flag him down. Well, he's hauling butt through the yard, and he goes and he connects to one of the to one of the other trailers that was at the building, and I kind of pull up beside him and I roll the window down and I'm like, hey, um, I didn't even get the whole statement. I was like, hey, somebody's supposed to seal up this trailer. What do I do? He didn't even get out the damn truck, right? Um, so he's like looking at me all like he's like mean mugging me, really. And he said he started pointing, you know, vigorously, um, into a direction in front of him. And I'm looking around, I'm like, where am I going? And he kept going, go over there, go over there. I'm like, but I, can't you just seal up my thing? And I don't know if he could hear me or whatever, but I guess he can see my gestures. And he just kept going, doing this, right? I'm looking, I'm like, I don't know where this dude wants me to go. And it's like, okay, maybe he wants me to go and park into one of the nearby parking spaces so he can pull up and just go ahead and attach the seal. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm like, I don't know, maybe this is what you want me to do. So I pull into the little parking stall there, and he speeds off and takes off somewhere off down the yard there with this trailer. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's gonna go drop the trailer off and then come back to me and then seal up my load. He didn't do that. What he did was he took uh, off in a different part of the yard. He dropped off his trailer, and then he got uh, out of his tow vehicle, and he walked his old butt, his old ass over back um, back up towards the other trailers in the area where I got mine at. So I'm watching it and observing him. He's not looking at me like he's not giving me no other signals about what to do. He didn't even bother to come over and say, hey, I need to seal your load up. he's walking alongside a row of trailers, out in front of me, probably about a distance of about 300-400 feet in front of me, and I'm just watching. I'm like, what are you doing? And so after a while, he then looks towards me, and then he starts pointing again, you know, to go over here, and he's like, I mean, there he's doing it again, like mean mugging me. So I'm like, I don't know why he's looking like that, but I don't like it. But I'm just gonna just leave it like it is. Um, and so I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about, but I mean pointing about him pointing. So I figured, all right, so I'm gonna go to him and I'm gonna ask him what it is that he's trying to get me to do. So I drive up on him, right, and I'm like, and I pull up beside him where he's on the passenger side of me. So I roll down my window and I says, hey, what is it you trying to get me to do? I need to seal up my load. I wasn't mean to him. Wasn't nothing like that. I just asked a question. This dude proceeded to keep on walking past me like he didn't hear me. Right? He just kept doing this. Just imagine. I'm walking right. I'm over here and I'm just walking straight up ahead here, and I'm asking a question. You just keep walking straight and you kept going. And I'm like, hey, I'm like, what are you doing? And then he blurts out, I need to see your trailer. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, where you going? Seal it up. He says, you need to get into the parking stall. Why do I need to get back in the parking stall that I was at? I mean, all you got to do is just go ahead and seal me up. And so I asked him. I says, why is it that I need to go back into the parking stall? You left the trailer. You took the trailer and it wasn't sealed up. I says, I know it wasn't sealed up, but why do I got to go back into the stall that I came out of for you to seal up the trailer? And he wouldn't answer that, right? He started after a while. I'm seeing, okay, well, whatever he was doing. I mean, he was driving all over the place. He was driving everywhere else, to do stuff except for this particular thing. He parked his tow truck wherever the hell it was, all the way down, so he can sit up there and walk back. And in my mind, I'm thinking he's doing this just to make me wait. And so I'll tell you, and as I'm telling you the story some more, you'll see why I think this. Okay, so already things are already getting escalated. I'm thinking in my head, no, he did not just sit here and tell me, try and yell at me for taking a trailer, and I'm like, okay, I'm asking you a question. I'm like, I was told you need to seal my trailer. What, are you gonna seal it? And then instead of answering the question, you're throwing off vibes that you got, some kind of attitude. So I'm trying not to like really, fire off on the dude, but I'm like, okay, I'm always thinking, well, maybe this person's having a rough time or whatever. So anyways, with all that mess going on, he says, you need to get back in your stall. You took the trailer without being sealed. I'm like, okay, well, my bad, but uh, I don't still understand why I gotta go back into the stall for you to seal it up. And I'm watching him as he's going to the trailers, and I see that he's picking up the seals that he had placed on the trailer to go and seal up each of the trailers. And I was thinking back, I'm like, I saw the seals on the back of my trailer, but I didn't think that they was for the truck though, right? Or for the trailer. So he's doing all that stuff, and he closes up. He starts closing up these. He closed the trailer that was next to where I was at, and so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and try to do what he's asking to do. But then, as I'm pulling into the spot, I'm trying to ask him again, why is it that I gotta get in here? So as I'm approaching, I already asked him again. He still didn't answer me. So as I'm approaching the slot to just go ahead and slip right in there so he can go ahead and seal me up. This dude, he walks right in front of me as if I didn't exist. So I had to stop to avoid from hitting him, right? And I'm like, ain't this something? So he proceeds to go to the other trailer that's on the other side of the parking spot, and he starts undoing the trailer doors and stuff like that. And all this time he's taking his sweet time doing that, and he's in my way because he's trying to close the door, but he's taking his time on doing that. So he swings it closed, and I'm like, dude. I told him, I says, I'm only asking you a question just so that I can understand what it is you want me to do, you know. And it appears to me that you got some attitude here, and you're being all pissy about it. And I don't think that's right. And you shouldn't be doing that. Pretty much that's what I was saying. So I eventually got into the spot, and so I'm thinking, okay, I'm in the spot. He's gonna come back and just go ahead and you know lock it up, and that'd be good to go. And I'm thinking, okay, that'll be the end of it. Well, I sat there for a little bit, and I'm looking at my rearview mirror, or I'm looking at my side mirror there, and I don't see him grabbing nothing. So I get out, and I go to the back of the trailer, and I look. Seal is still sitting there on the light cable, and I look to the left of me, and I see that was been sealed. Look to the right of me, and I see that trailer's been sealed. And I start looking at all the sequential trailers that were proceeding on down. He done sealed up all the rest of them, and was still going. And by this time, he was way down on the other end of the line of trailers, close to where his little tow truck is, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, this dude just went ahead and just kept on going, and he's gonna now go ahead and seal me up last. And I'm analyzing this. I'm like, wait a second. So what is he trying to do? I'm getting all these cues that he's got this attitude, and he's claiming that because I left without getting the trailer sealed. Big whoop. Why would you want to get all bent out of shape over that? I mean, it's not like I can really, get out of here without 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 making sure that, you know, it's not like I can just, get the hell out of here and take off with this, because if that would be stealing anyway. So, what is the big whoop about that? Why is it you got to get all huffy and puffy about that? And then when I come back, and it's like, look, where the seals are at. If I came back to you, all you got to do is just, put the thing on there, call it a day. 2 seconds, bam. You didn't have to go chase me down. I came back to you. Okay. I did what I was supposed to do. I'm like, hey, my bad. Because I didn't see the seal. I was like, well, I didn't think it'd be much of a big deal to just, head off to the guard shack. I mean, I'm like, I'm saving you a seal because you put the seal on there long enough just so that I can go from that parking stall to the guard shack. I'm saving you a seal, saving you some money, but whatever. So he's down there fiddle faddling with the last few trailers down there, and I'm back up here with mine. I'm like, look, dude, I'm ready to go. I got my timetable all set up, and right now, the way that I see it is that you got me stalling. And it came to my memories. I was thinking, I was looking, I was like, he pulled out some seals off the side of the trailer. I remember seeing some seals. And I'm like, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna check and see if these are the seals that are supposed to go on the trailer. So I went and grabbed the paperwork, and I looked at the seals on there. And sure enough, them seals that was sitting there on that light cable were the same ones on the papers. And I came back there. He's still fooling around down the other end of the yard down there. So I'm like, you know what? All they need is a damn seal to see at the guard shack. All right, bet. So I took the one seal that's supposed to go in the trailer. I dropped it in the trailer. I took the other seal that's supposed to be sealed on the outside, and I sealed it up on the thing. So I went ahead and I hurried myself up. I wanted to go ahead. I went and did all stuff, bam, 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 and then I got back in the truck. So he must have saw me do it, and he's starting to rush back over. And this time, what he did was he took his truck and he raced. I mean, he literally raced back up to where the trailer was, right? And so by the time he got to where the trailer was, I was already pulling out of the stall. I was already pulling out of the stall, right? So I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and he's at the back of my trailer, and he's like, he's throwing his hands up, like, what are you doing? I'm like, deuces, man. So I start going, I start to pull off, and I'm starting to go around, and he hops back into his tow thing, and he starts hauling ass on the back side of the row, and he comes bending around the corner, and he literally almost hit me trying to do this, and I don't know if he was trying to intimidate me or scare me, but he was doing this intimidation act all the way through, right? Thinking that he's intimidating me. I'm like, you ain't intimidating me. So he went ahead and he darted right in front of me as if he was going to run into me. And I'm like, well, if you're going to hit me, because it's not going to be my fault that there's damage to my vehicle. So he gotten around me and came to my driver's side, and so I rolled the window down, and I'm like, what's up? What you want? And he's like, you ain't supposed to leave until I get that trailer sealed, and and you're not supposed to put the seal on there. And I'm like, hold up, partner, hold on a second. Uh, First of all, when I was there, uh, when I was there, you didn't give two licks about me putting the seal on there. I'm like, I got places to be. I got things to do. I can't be sitting around here waiting on you. And the way that you're acting, it sounds to me like you're doing it just to try to piss me off or anything. And I'm like, you out here trying to waste my time and stuff. And um and I simply did what I needed to do. You wanna play and waste time. That's on you. All right. So I'm telling him all this kind of stuff. I'm like, but I got things to do, and for you to tell me to go back to where I needed to go, and then you just gonna disregard me all this time. And he's like, what if I needed to put some more product in the back of the truck? Da 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 da. I'm like, it was done to me. And I'm like, if you needed more product, so I'm like, do you have more product to put in the back of the truck? He wouldn't answer that. He purposely avoided that question. I asked him a couple of times, do you got product to put in the back of this truck? You know, and he didn't answer that. And I says, well, you know, you the what you were doing, was trying to make me pay for leaving without putting the seal on there. I did everything that I needed to do, and when I even asked you a question on what the procedure was, why I needed to do what you're telling me to do, you flat out refused to talk to me, but yet you was giving me a bunch of attitude. And I'm like, now that's being disrespectful to me. And I'm like, I don't take to disrespect like that. And um so I turned around and I went ahead and I did what I needed to do. And he says, well, you're not supposed to do this. And I mean, he's like yelling at me, right? And you're not supposed to do this. I says, well, I did it. And I'm trying to like cut it off to where it's not a big argument, and to where I end up losing it, and start flying off the mouth with stuff, right? So I'm like, yeah, okay, I did it. I did it. So now I'm about to leave. Well, I'm gonna tell Warner what it is that you did, because you're not supposed to do this. Go tell him. All right. I told you. I did what I did, but at the same time, you didn't have to treat me the way that you were treating me. And so I did this because I'm like, In my mind, I'm looking at it logically. They need that seal in order for them to release me to go. You're down there dicking around with other things, and you're making me wait. And I'm like, that's not how it's gonna work, partner. And so I did what I need to do. I says, you go ahead and you tell Warner. You tell him all that you want to tell him about what I did. I can care less. I did it. I'm about to go. So and he still was just flapping his gums about you ain't supposed to do this, you ain't supposed to do that. I says, I know that. I did it. Hey, fine. What else what do you want me to do? Want me to go and break off the seal so you can go put it back on there? I mean, come on. That's stupid. So I just told him, I said, you know what? You go ahead and you do what you gotta do. I'm doing what I gotta do. I rolled the window up because he still wanted to talk and agitate, and um he still wanted to try and get me engaged in his rant so that he can try and assert his authority over me. And I'm like, nah, that ain't happening, dude. You ain't sitting here intimidating me. You ain't trying to assert your authority over me or nothing like that. And I says, and I just left it at that. And I'm like, I'm not letting people do that kind of stuff to me anymore. It's like you know I'm trying to be patient and trying to be right and proper about stuff. But it's gonna come to a point to where I'm like, look, you're gonna have to chill with all that stuff. I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you about stuff. It's like, okay, you made your point about I wasn't supposed to do that. Fine. I wasn't supposed to do that. I won't do it again. But don't sit up here and try to belittle me. Don't sit up here and try to talk to me like some little kid. Definitely don't be screaming and yelling at me when you don't need to, when there's no cause to. What he could have done is like, he could have just went and sealed me up instead of going back into the having me go back into the stall. He was already out the truck. He knew where those seals were at. He knew that he was done with the load. All he could have done was just pop the seal on there and be like, and he could have came back and educated me. He could have just said, look, in the future, don't take off unless it's got a seal on it. I wasn't quite done with it. I can understand that. No problems. You're telling me what needed to be done, and I'm like, okay, I understand that. I'll make sure that I won't do it again. Or I try. Yeah, I'll either make sure that I won't do it again, or I'll try not to do it again, depending on what it is. But yeah, I'm like, okay, that would have been the perfect way to handle it. Here, I'll go ahead and hook you up right now, but just in the future, don't do that. Going about the way that homeboy did, that was the wrong way to do it. And so it escalated. It escalated, and but I'm not sitting here gonna let you intimidate me or try to intimidate me, or try to coerce me or scare me, because you think that you some big boss hog, and I'm like, dude, you ain't no boss hog of me. And for you to say that you're gonna go tell Warner about what I did, I could care less. What are they gonna do? I mean, the worst thing that they can do is kick me off the account. I mean, but still, I didn't do anything wrong. I mean, I didn't leave the premise without getting the thing, without getting the proper authority or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, what is it they gonna do to me? Okay, not a thing. At least, in my mind, it's not a thing. But even if they did take action to do something, I don't care. I'm not letting stuff like this, cause me to react in a way that I shouldn't react into. So I shut him off pretty quick. I'm like, I don't care what you're gonna do. I did the same thing that Jesus did to Judas. He's like, go and do what you got to do. Because really what this is that it wasn't the person himself, and I'm thinking about this. It wasn't the person himself that I was uh, you know being or being aggressive with, because even while that was going on, I was thinking in my mind, it's not him. You're not fighting against him. You're fighting against yeah, like the Bible says, you're fighting against the principalities. You're fighting against the prince. You're fighting against these chiefs and things like that in the spiritual realm. These things are happening, and they're influencing him to react a certain way, so they can get to you to act a certain way. And that's why I did what I did. I cut him off, and I'm like, I'm not gonna sit there and keep going back and forth about what it is. It's like, you want to go and you want to tattletale on me for doing something like this, then fine. You know, whatever the consequence may be, I'll just have to deal with it. Um, but in this case, I'm like, it's no harm, no foul. It's got a seal on it. That was the end goal in the first place. So why you got to complain about it, right? So um, so yeah. So I went and I did that, and I just took off, and because I think that because I decided to cut off communication with them, that that ended everything pretty quickly. He ended up just leaving, and I ended up taking off and going somewhere else. But the dude was just like, I mean, he was like really upset about that, and I'm like, I'm like, instead of being all upset and frustrated or however you're feeling, and trying to chew me out for
Attention, a new important message has
anyways,
arrived.
and trying to chew me all out um, for taking this trailer. Um, why not just, if you take a different approach to it, you know, it's not like I was just being, complacent, on purpose. It wasn't like I was trying to make your job a little harder. It was just something that I didn't know. But now that I know, hey, I won't do it to you no more. You know, I'll make an effort to not, uh, try to be on your bad side and stuff like that. So that story was just pretty much to just let you know that, um, just be sure that when you're checking your trailer, check to make sure that it's got the seal on it. If it doesn't have the seal on it, then try and find somebody who can put the seal on there for you, and consider it good to go. Now, hell, the seals were sitting right there. Like I said, it was sitting right there. I put it on. I'm like, well, you're obviously busy, doing something else. So why don't I just help you out? I'll go ahead and seal it up myself, and then I'll head over to the guard shack. I mean, but it just turned into one of them things where he was wanting to, or he felt the need to assert his superiority over me, as if he had some kind of reign over me. And I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. So just just a reminder, just make sure that you try and find out all the information that you can about what it is you're doing. And if you happen to do something that you weren't supposed to do and you didn't know about it, just say, hey, my bad, I didn't know. I figured this was the best thing, the best choice, or the best course of action, so I took it. Whatever. But when you find out that it's not the best thing to do, then you try and fix what it is that you did, if you can. There are a lot of things where you can, on the next go around, you do things differently. So just learn from your mistakes, and try to do better. Okay. So that'll be it. And I know that was another long-winded episode here. It took me about an hour to just explain that. But um, continue to look at my videos. I mean, I do have a lot of, I do share, quite a bit of knowledge, um, not just with trucking, but just with anything that just comes to mind. That's what my channel is all about. I have things that, there are things that that happen on my, that I think about, things that are on my mind, on my heart, and I just like to share them with people. And I would like to get some feedback from any of you, and see what your thoughts are on what it is that I share uh, with the community, with this world. So this is one thing that I want to know from you guys. How would you put in the comments? How would you have handled the situation with what I have told you? How would you have handled the situation? Now listen to what I said. I asked how would you have handled the situation, not what you think that I should have done. That's a whole different thing. But how would you have handled this situation if it had happened to you? I don't need to find out from you what you think that I should do or what I should have done, because that's not going to make a bit of difference, to me. You know, um, it's unsolicited advice that you're giving to me. I'm not asking you what I should have done. I'm asking you what you would have done in this situation. So yeah, put that down in the comment. Also, hit the subscribe button. I have 21 subscribers, and I'm looking for more subscribers. The more, the merrier. But my goal for right now is to get to 25 subscribers. So that would mean that I need 4 more subscribers. Also, click on the bell notification and select all so that you can get all of my videos. You can get notification of the videos that I put up as they get uploaded to YouTube. And then, last but not least, I need at least 15 likes for every video that you click on. That's also my goal, is to have all my videos at this point in time to have at least 15 likes. So do those, and then yeah, if you got a comment, leave a comment, and I'll get back to you as soon as I'm able to. All right. So you guys have a good rest of your evening, good rest of your day, whatever it is. God bless you, and God damn this coronavirus.